check. Make sure Chuck's all right there. They're going to check Chuck out. Catastrophic engine damage. I think the top part of the motor. I believe he probably split the block in half right there. 234.53. Folks, give Chuck a round of applause. They said he's just fine, but the only thing hurting is his pocketbook right now. That is going to be an expensive fix.
Welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. You know what that means. Outlawed Live. I'm Ron Stone with the ever so present Mike Idle. Mike, how you doing, buddy? We didn't plan to wear the same.
I know. I just noticed that. Todd Bowles, if you're watching, you know, you're a very excited man right now. Ron, I'm doing great. A weird feeling just hit me. I opened up the Outlaw app to just do some quick notes, double check some of our winners, and one to go, buddy. I mean, when you pull over there and it says events and the only thing at the top of the screen is Lufkin, Texas, normally you're scrolling way down that thing. That's an odd feeling that here we are already.
That's insane. When you go back, like we've been talking, you go back and look at the schedule. It seemed like it was just a couple weeks ago that, you know, we had a ton of events in front of us, you know, close to 50 events. And here we are down to one. We had a pretty wild weekend, fun weekend, busy weekend. Saw some action. Of course, you know, if you're on Facebook, if you're on social media, you've seen a lot of that stuff going on. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We're not going to dwell on it. You know, just one thing I want to say, and you know, I want to talk to the folks that are chiming in. Peyton Kaufman, thanks for watching. Robert Miner from, I've been saying Niobrara. Somebody told me, I think it was Kyle, so he's from Nebraska, said it's Niobrara. So sorry if I'm
Niobrara.
Nebraska. Thanks for tuning in. Robert Miner. Of course, social media, anything you put on social media, it's open to people's opinions. And, you know, everybody has opinions. And, you know, some people, you know, they get behind that keyboard and they're Superman. So you see some negative comments about things, and a lot of people, I'm just going to say a lot of people don't know, you know, what the hell they're talking about. Some of them that are making comments, and just some of it's ridiculous. But we got some positive comments as well. You know, we've heard, you know, just today from, you know, one very famous chassis builder in the country reached out to us, and we're always looking for ways to increase safety. Nobody got hurt this weekend in the things that happened. But there's always things you always kind of have to look at what could happen, you know, within reason, and say, well, how could this have gone worse and somebody got hurt? You know, somebody said to me, you know, on Facebook, you know, how come the cables didn't work? The cables did work on Light Superstock.
And if you listen, you called it immediately. I went back and rewatched it, and that was literally the first thing out of your mouth. That was a good observation. The cables on Chuck's tractor did precisely what they are designed and expected to do, propelling momentum forward. We saw some good things in that the equipment that we did have, the safety equipment, worked pretty well. You know, no one got hurt, but the cables did their job, no doubt about that.
They did. The engine was still tethered to the tractor. It didn't, you know, it didn't shoot 20, 30 feet down the track or 20, 30 feet off the side. The cables did their job in containing the engine and the head and the components there. Everybody was okay. Of course, Jeremy Paulson's tractor split in half there. Shook him up a little bit. I think it shook the family up, his kids and the wife, more than anything. And on top of it, a very good friend of that family had passed away in a tragic accident over the weekend. So it all hit home for him. So think about that when you're posting comments on social media, when you're using your expertise to tell everyone what went wrong and what they did wrong and what they should have done and should have done this and should have done that. Think about that. We're still human beings, and you know, you got to keep that in perspective here. So please use that discretion when you're commenting on things like this. safety is huge with the Outlaws, and we have meetings all the time where safety is discussed in detail. We don't want to see anybody get hurt, whether it's the driver, whether it's a fan, whether it's a track member, anybody at an event. We want everyone to be safe and enjoy the best motorsport on earth,
Absolutely.
in my opinion. So we're always going to be pushing safety. And, it's not always the most popular thing because, safety equipment a lot of times is expensive, and it doesn't make the tractor any more powerful.
No, exactly. It costs money. It can potentially add weight. Sometimes in the case of a few things I've seen this year, there might be a trade-off with performance when you're looking at airflow or various other things. But you just accept it as a part of the sport, because while we want to push machine right up to the limit and we want to be as competitive as possible, safety trumps all of that, hands down. And look at what happened this weekend, and you can say, oh my goodness, big bangs, big booms. 2 drivers walked away. Just walked away and hugged their loved ones. No, not so much as a light from an ambulance was turned on. So let it be an example too that we've come a long ways in 40 or 50 years, and we are trending very much in the right direction.
Yeah, I received a comment from my dad immediately after the Paulson tractor split in half, and I'll just tell you what he said. And I can remember him telling me about this years ago. Sure. He was flagging. It might have been an Ohio State tractor pull. I'm not sure. He was with the sled with the Teays Valley tractor pullers. I think he was working 100-foot flags. And he said, wowzers, he said, I was up close to a cockshut with 2 big block Chevys that did that. And I remember him telling me about it because at that time, your safety equipment for the driver was, a pair of sandals and some cutoff jean shorts, a tank top and a Marlboro Red and a Kendall Racing Oil cap, no seatbelt.
1975 was a different time, Ron.
And I remember him telling me the tractor split and the guy disappeared. He fell out of the seat down in between the mess. And he said he popped back up. Thank God he was all right. But as you can see from Jeremy Paulson's tractor splitting, he was secure in that seatbelt. He did not come out.
Yes.
I'm sure it scared him a little bit. It would me. Who wouldn't it scare?
Yeah.
That happened like that. But, but thankful for that. Thank God nobody got hurt this weekend. Yep. Kudos to the track crew, the Outlaw safety crew out there. If you watch the videos and focus on them, in both those instances, they dropped what they had or threw what they had in their hands. I saw flags get thrown and they took off running right for it.
I thought the same thing. The response time and the attentiveness to driver need, to realize machine can be repaired, replaced, removed, but to driver need. There's even I believe it was PJ, one of our track officials, his radio was dangling, because that be darned, he was on the move and that was going to catch up to him later on. Everyone plays for the same team. At the end of the day, we're competitors, but at the end of the day, we're outlaws, and we all come together and we're all on the same team anytime something like this happens.
Yeah, somebody commented on the radio thing you're talking about where it was tethered to him and the radio was behind, and somebody, just silly comments saying they need to get their stuff together. Well, who would care about the radio when they're running, to the accident? And hopefully there was a guy in the stands after the pull. I hope he's okay. Prayers and well wishes. That there was a guy after the pull, I think Schaefer Dave and maybe Kevin Bauer, they were getting things cinched up on the sled for travel, and they were right in front of the grandstand, and there was a guy sitting up there kind of hunched over, and they went up and checked him out, and he was unresponsive. So hopefully he's all right. So
sure.
That's happened a couple times with us this year. And
and fans, be mindful of that on a Sunday afternoon pull, 1:00, with the sun's beating down on you and it's hot, and just take care of yourself. We don't want anybody not having an excellent time at an Outlaw pull for any reason.
Yeah, look at some of the comments here. Mike Robinson checking in from Michigan. Thanks for checking in, Mike.
Good. Thanks for watching.
Marty Samuelson, the mayor of Ravenna, Nebraska. Yeah, and that's true. That's true. And
I liken it to sports, too. I mean, this is a sport, albeit a motorsport. Injuries happen, be it football, baseball, basketball. You can be the most highly trained, physically fit individual. if something goes wrong, it's not always someone's fault. It's not a lack of preparedness. It's not a lack of foresight. It's competition yields stress, you know, be it physical or mechanical or one way or another. They happen. You're right, Marty. Things just happen. It's not always someone's fault.
And you could sit here and think about the things that could happen, Mike, you know, at a tractor pull or any motorsports event. And you could implement all the safety you possibly can. And, you know, like Marty said, something else could, you know, rear its head and you know, expose a weak spot somewhere, you know, a soft spot in the rules or a soft spot in, you know, some safety equipment. But we do it the best we can. And, you know, we have some of the best safety equipment we've you know, look at the turbo changes we made this year. You know, there was some confusion between organizations with that, but we finally got it all done, and we're safer because of it. We're safer because of it.
Well, I think we've seen a couple of instances between February and now where that rule and that safety mandate came in and it, you know, saved whatever that was. It was a good rule. You know, we saw where things could have been worse had it not been for that.
Yeah, I think we've seen also some of the guys that, and of course, the turbo blanket rules and things like that. We've seen some competitors, or I've seen at least, where they were against it, thought that's not going to happen, and then they actually had a turbo casing come apart inside the blanket and actually put a post on saying, "Hey, the safety equipment worked. Thank God we're using it now." So, you know. Sean Huseman watching from Ocheeden, Iowa. Ocheeden. Who's from Ocheeden, Mike? You know, there's a puller from Ocheeden.
The only reason I knew there was is because when I saw that, I in my mind knew how to pronounce that. And that's as far as I can tell you. So who is from Ocheeden?
Is it not Wide Loose, but is it Wide Loose? Maybe it is Wide Loose. Yeah. Pedley's, right?
Kyle Pedley's from Ocheeden, Iowa?
Is it? Or are they from Sibley?
I don't feel like I feel like Ocheeden. I can look that one up pretty quickly.
I think so. Yeah.
Kyle Pedley was we had him on When the Smoke Clears. So I don't know if I have that question. You know what? I don't have that question on When the Smoke Clears. I don't have their hometown listed. We should include that on their questionnaire for When the Smoke Clears. Hey, where the heck you from?
Yeah.
You know,
that's a good basic question, Mike.
Yes, I don't have that one. I got your most influential memories and your dirty secrets and the key to victory, but I never asked them where they were from. Yeah.
Yes, I was right.
Kurt says it is Kyle Pedley
from Ocheeden. I used to say Okeadon. Somebody corrected me on it. How do outlaw points work exactly? Is it similar to other organizations or different? Dylan Dirks is asking. Thanks for watching, Dylan. At an outlaw event, the winner gets an actual bonus point for first place. First place gets 28 points. Second place gets 26. Now, in saying that, if a non-points runner, a non-member, finishes first and an outlaw puller gets second, that outlaw puller does not get that bonus point. They get 27. That's the only time a puller would get 27, is if a non-member won the class. So we add those points up throughout the season, depending on how many hooks you have. The more hooks you have, the more opportunities you have for drops, where you can drop your worst hook. I don't remember if it's 20 hooks, you get 2 drops. I think it's 20 is 2 drops, something like that. So you can actually drop your worst hook, and it may be one that you didn't go to. So you may have to drop a 0, you know, a pull you couldn't make. So that's how the points work. It makes it a little harder to determine, like, you know, at a last pull of the season, who's going to win, because you don't know. They might take, you know, somebody in the top 2 or 3 may have their worst hook of the season, say at Spencer yesterday or day before yesterday, and that may be their drop. So it's hard to determine when you're trying to prognosticate, you know,
on the fly,
up to date on those points. So Tom is Mitchell or Michelle? I can't. Watching from Richland, Missouri. Thanks for watching, Tom. Michael Burks confirms. So cheating for Pedley. So we got some fans out there. Watching today or tonight. I just wanted to show one time. We're not going to show the Hawkeye hooker tonight. It's out there so much. If you haven't seen it, you're not on social media because it's out there. But I did want to show that I showed this video right at the beginning just so you could see that the engine did stay tethered to the tractor. as it's designed to do. But yeah, the engine, wow, it was destroyed in the Barnyard Buddy. So let's watch.
Wow. Check. Make sure Chuck's all right there. They're going to check Chuck out. Catastrophic engine damage. I think the top part of the motor. I believe he probably split the block in half right there. 234.53. Folks, give Chuck a round of applause. They said he's just fine, but the only thing hurting is his pocketbook right now. That is going to be an expensive fix.
The ever constant professional Ron Stone, still with the presence of mind after making sure the driver was okay, to list the distance pulled. I think I would have been hiding under a table somewhere, but that's impressive. Well done, my man. You've got the distance in your ear, and your Chuck's all right, and to put that in there. But that was a big one, buddy. That was a big boom.
Yeah, that was big. And you can see that it was the lower part, the block, that actually popped out the bottom side. The head and the upper part of the block was still up in up there in the top part, hanging out up there. So wow, it's pretty wild when you start pushing that much air pressure into a power plant like that, the things that can happen. So it's our job, safety-wise, to contain them and keep everybody safe, and we did that this weekend. So Dick Blankspore, thanks for watching from Inwood, Iowa. Folks, chime in, tell us what was your favorite pull this season, maybe your favorite moment, your favorite run down the track this season. We don't have any guests tonight. We're just going to talk pulling. We're going to talk points. We've got some new points champions. We're all but done except for 4 classes, Mike, which those 4 classes, mod tractors, 2-wheel drives, pro stock tractors, and limited pro diesel pickups, get a break to get things tuned up and ready to go for the final points run weekend, October 25th and 26th down in Lufkin, Texas.
That's going to be, especially with it being a 2, and we've talked about this before, a 2-session Friday night, Saturday night hook with upwards of 56 points available on the table. There's going to be a slugfest in about 3 of those classes. One of them might have a little bit more of an outside shot, maybe some Cinderella stories coming out of it if there's some changes. But I'm thinking in the diesel truck class and the 2-wheel drive truck class and in that pro stocks, especially in the 2 truck classes, you've got some heavy hitters with a lot left to be determined in those.
Yeah, you're talking limited pro diesel pickups. Wayman now with just a 2-point advantage over Skyler Leaper. That's going to be a battle down there in Texas. Those 2 have been going at it all season. Ryan Stahl in 3rd right now. The Chain Smoker 4th. Pay and Dues had a good run on Saturday night in Bedford, Iowa. Nate Bridgman. But yeah, 2 points separating those 2 trucks. It's still anybody between those 2 guys. One of them most likely is going to win the championship coming out of Texas next month. But Leaper, they would literally be tied right now if Leaper would have. No, I take that back. He would have 1 more point. They'd be within 1 point. Leaper was beat by what is it, 800
to the foot, because he was asking for a couple more tenths, and you were like, buddy, if you'd have had 1 tenth, you'd have gotten the job done. So
if he'd had 1 more tenth, he would have been 2 hundredths ahead of the Bang Hard diesel truck, the Power Trip. But that was 1 inch separated first and second. 1 inch cost him that extra. Well, no, I take that back. That would have been 2 points because he got 26. He would have got 28.
Yep.
So So yeah, they would be tied right now.
Yeah.
That just went one more inch.
That was a great class. That
Yes,
diesel, that limited pro stock diesel truck class at Bedford, Iowa, which I thought Bedford was a heck of a good show. Man, that was a top tier pull. But that 3.0 truck class, that was an entertaining and fun class for everybody involved.
Yeah, and a growing event too, Mike. 13 trucks in the limited pro diesel pickup class. We haven't seen that many diesel pickups in the class all year, so it's a great class there. But yeah, the crowd was awesome. They brought in some more bleachers and filled those up this year. So that's a growing event. Great weather too. Really
these late September pulls or mid September pulls, they can go a little bit of both ways. But when you get them like this, that's perfect pulling, man.
Case Conover, thanks for watching as always down there from Lytle, Texas. Are you going to Lufkin, Case? Tell us you're going to Lufkin, Texas. Dave Hibma watching from Spirit Lake. Noah Mars checking in. I think he's runs with guy, his name is slipping my mind, but he won the 2-wheel drive class on Saturday night.
Yeah.
At Rock Valley.
He's out of Minnesota, isn't he?
What's that?
I think he's from Minnesota, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Noah liked Rock Valley, what it did for the flood victims. Yeah, we actually was able to raise enough money to give money back to the community. It was super cool. Jim Schwartzman tuning in tonight. Says hi from Tonganoxie, Kansas, the land of Oz. I know exactly where Tongi is. Case said he is going to
good deal.
Lufkin, Texas. Make sure you come say hi to us when we're there. That is such an awesome event. I can't wait for that one. But a break is nice. It'll be nice to take a little break. And the pullers, it'll be good for them too. And they'll be chomping at the bit to go pulling by the time that weekend comes around.
That's precisely how I feel. Yeah, they'll get everything ironed out, and the date works well for a pull like that. That turns it into a destination pull. You go south, it's still going to be warm down there. Brings the pullers out of the woodwork, and you're not saving it for much at that point. That's like a senior pitching in his final baseball game with no college offers. You just go out there and you throw that thing because you got all winter to fix it. You're not saving anything on the shelf. So that's going to be a fun pull down there. You posed a good question, Ron. What were some of the best pulls of the season? And you just look back, and there were a lot of times this year where the Outlaw family, the Outlaw production, everything involved, hit our stride really well. There were a lot of. It's going to be interesting at the banquet to see how it gets voted on with some of these pulls of the year at their various, super national and regional national and extreme national. Because you got a lot of big contenders. There were a lot of good pulls this year.
Yeah, Matt Bartz out of McIntosh, Minnesota, was the guy. I was trying to think of his name. Won the 2-wheel drive class there in Rock Valley on Saturday night. And you can see that Noah Mars there checking in. You can see he's standing on stage. He's got a picture there of Bartz and crew there from their win at Rock Valley. So Rock Valley, a lot of people's favorite is Rock Valley. So a lot of good pulls on the schedule. Let's talk points.
Sure.
Crown points champions this weekend.
9 or 10 of them, I think, right? A whole bunch of people wrapped up their season this past weekend.
Yet 4-wheel drive trucks, and not because I'm a door slammer fan, just because it was first on the list here. Ryan Thornton, wow, what a season for that guy, man.
Took the lead early and never looked back. I mean, what did he have? 7 or 8 wins to his credit. Set the tone early on and just kind of controlled his own fate all year long in that backdraft truck.
He became the one to beat, no doubt, this year. He was the guy to beat. Where Thumper was last year, his uncle was the one to beat last year. He couldn't get in a groove at all this year and didn't get one win with Thumper, and he finished, in 4th. But Ryan's dad, Lane Ramrod, starting to get the feel for that truck. That was an X factor by the end of the year. And that truck, the history of that truck, that's a hard running truck. And with a Thornton behind the wheel of it, watch out. That's going to be a dangerous combination in the years to come. Yeah, he got his first win there at Bedford on Saturday night. So yeah, Ramrod in second in points. Now these are points. These are final. Ryan Thornton backdraft points champion in modified 4-wheel drive. Lane Thornton and Ramrod second. Dustin Ritter, Stroker Ace. There's another team that found their groove this year. Got that new design performance Hemi in there, and they won a few pulls and finished third. Last year's champion Murray Thornton finished fourth with Thumper. Ron Fisher Nuts, ended up fifth there. He broke the truck Saturday night in Bedford, and he was unable to make the call in Spencer on Sunday. So that was a tough break for him. He very well could have, I think, looking at the totals here, possibly challenged. He's probably going to end up in that number 5 spot. Thumper looks like it pretty much had fourth wrapped up. That was modified 4-wheel drive. Let's see. Pro Stock 4x4. Just a dominating performance by Keith
I feel
Hammond.
like if you would have had a preseason pick, you know, if there was a safest vehicle to gamble on in all of Outlaws, it might be that one right there, just because of the track record that it's had over the past, 6, 7, 8 seasons.
Yep, the Selmans with Rat Trap had a good season, finished second. Congratulations to Raleigh Competition Engines, both first and second running their Pro Stock 4-wheel drive engines, one a Ford, one a Chevy. Miles Jumps, the noise complaint Ford, good job this year. Ended up
very
third.
much so.
Ended up winning the last hook of the season there in Spencer. So congratulations to Miles Jumps. He's running a Matt Driscoll built big block Chevy. Brett Stampson, a troublemaker. You never count out fourth and fifth there. Those guys are tough. Brett Stampson, a troublemaker, fourth. Dave Walters in the Tater Wagon. Dave Walters getting a win there on Saturday.
Win in Bedford. Yep.
Let's see. That's top 5. 540 Light Pro. I mean, that one came down pretty tight battle there. 1 point finally at the end between John Narragon and Alan Shellham.
Now, are they stablemates or travel partners or teammates? I feel like I always see those tractors parked together. Do they?
Yeah,
just
they run together. They run together
in that class.
Those guys run together, and they also put on the pull up there in Madison, South Dakota.
Sure.
As well. Eric Clark and Rackham had a good run going until I think he broke a crankshaft here about a month ago or so. So kind of took him out of the running. I skipped off of that too soon. Rich Johnson, Shag Nasty 4th, and Connie Mullenix and Gopher 5th. They're top 5 in Light Pro, 540 Light Pro. Diesel Super Stocks, Tyler Buckman gets the Super Stock win this year. Brad Campbell finishes 9 points ahead of Brad Campbell with maybe. Jason Schultz's Remedy tractor, mostly with Mike Schultz driving the tractor, as well as
Doug Meisinger.
Yep. Tiger Bradley, second-hand smoke 4th, and Sarah Kulnoki and 5th in Diesel Super Stock. A lot of damage, a lot of breakage, and
yeah. And it's so, you sit here in the past 2 classes, the Light Pro Stock and the Diesel Super Stock, and your heart just breaks because you think coulda, woulda, shoulda in both of those classes. If Connie Mullenix gets her tractor together sooner, if Shag Nasty is hooking more frequently, if Scrappy is together, if the water behaves with the Remedy, both of these classes have all the potential in the world. It's just a reflection of, man, when you push that envelope with that horsepower, stuff can happen.
Oh yeah. That's they push those more than any other class. Light Limited Pro, this one, wow, it was a late change in the points between first and second. Brady Gosler spare time pretty much dominated the majority of the season.
And I'm going to interject early. If you would have polled me early on and said, who is Brady Gosler going to have to fight off? Who are we going to watch this coming down 1 and 2? I would have said Mike Hargens. I thought within the first third of the season, those are the 2. I thought that's going to be the story. So I'll let you continue and announce the winners. So the way this one panned out, very interesting class here.
Yeah, and we didn't know what to expect with Meister because, last year he really didn't chase the points. Just when he could, he came out and pulled, and not knowing if he was going to hit it 100% this year, and not sure if that was even his game plan. Sometimes sometimes they start the season not planning on running points, and they're doing so well. I think, well, maybe we'll just hit them all and see how we end up. But Gosler did end up winning the regional battle. But yeah, Meister came out and had another good hook on Sunday to win it. I know Gosler was hanging out there by the finish line there and close to where I was standing towards the end of the class. And I think Meister truly, and I don't know if this would have taken him out because it could have been a drop. He would have had to, I think, go out of bounds and take last place. But there again, that's hard to determine. I was trying to do the math over there as fast as I could to think, well, what would happen if he got last place? He would drop this hook. So how would that, it's really hard to determine with those drops. It makes it a little difficult when you get down there. Yeah, it was in Meister's favor. I'll put it that way. So yeah, Meister wins it. Dirt Slinging Demonstrator. Brady Gosler spare time second. Inches Matter. Mike Masonbrink finishing third. Mike Hargan's in the wild side you were talking about there finishes fourth. And Molly Edmeister, Never Say Never, respectable fifth place finishing points this year. Very consistent season for her. I got to watching her season a little more closely. There's a win in that tractor. I really felt that before the season was over, we were going to see her in the winner's circle, and I stand by that. So I think 2025, we will see that black and pink Case IH in the winner's circle before it's all said and done. Jeremy Kurtzadina watching from Library, Nebraska. Thanks for watching. Marty Samuelson. So Andrew pulled great early and kept it up through the summer. So why not? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes I've seen that in pulling where they'll accidentally, it's like, well, we're just going to come out and hit these first four, and then through four, they're leading. So it's like, well, I guess we'll, that happens sometimes. Yeah. Jeremy says, see us next year. Oh, you're going to see us all the rest of this year, buddy. As long as you're watching this show, we're going to be showing our ugly mugs here all year long and as well as next year. So limited pro stock, two-time back-to-back winner now, George Beyer, the side piece. Did it Banner Brothers style? Built, had a tractor last year, and he said, I'll just build a new one for next year, and one with the new one. So are we gonna do the Banner style and just build a new one every single year? I mean, most people have to work out the bugs a little bit, but he hopped on that new one, and it was bigger and badder than the last one. Yeah, it was a beast. It was absolutely. He was the one to beat in the class for sure. I mean, some of his performances. I mean, sometimes he'd put 30 feet on second place. Yeah, like, wow, where's that coming? And his runs are just beautiful. I mean, they're straight. It seems like he's never messing with the brake. He carries the front end, except for Saturday night. Did he get a little close on Saturday? Yeah, he got that soft. That right side was a little soft, and it pulled him over there and got in that loose stuff, and didn't have the performance he wanted. I could see him. He was walking around chomping at the bit. He couldn't wait to get on that Black River Bottom gumbo there at Bedford. Yeah. But I've seen that happen to several tractors. I've seen it happen to Ken Summers too, that soft stuff on the right, that left rear is getting more traction, so it's going to turn the tractor that way and to fight that brake. But anyway, he came out on top with a dominating performance in the class. The Mean Farmer, Dave Novak, in second. Novak, I know Novak won the Hoganics Midwest Summer Sweep points, and also the region, the limited pro stock region. So I'm sure Dave Novak not too hurt about that second place finish behind George Beyer. Jamie Yonke, great performance for third with moving on. Seth Novak, the bounty hunter, finishing fourth. Joe Moriando, stepping it up this year, had some turbo issues. I know he popped at least one turbo this year in grand fashion at Mound City, Kansas. But no green, no glory, finishing fifth in a competitive limited pro stock class. Light super stock, Frank Bowboy, the Green Lightning Machine, finishing up with a win. Alan Ulmer nipping at his heels there with Never Enough in second. The Deer Factor in third. Mark Ulmer, the diesel burn, the oil burner in there, finished. Boy, he got him a win. Picked up a win. I was going to say, he picked up a win. Ended the season, and you just know Mark being the kind of guy it is,
that kind of quietly had to put a smile on his face. That the
it did. I spoke to him after.
What's he call himself? The old greaser with the Alky boys out there running with him with the cast rear end and saying, this old dog still knows the tricks. So you can't sleep on him. The guy knows how to drive a tractor. He
knows how to build them too. And he was ecstatic about it. He was all smiles. And Justin Hoffman, last one standing. They really didn't chase the points too much this year, but when they were there, they
kind of ran a more selective, independent schedule. But he getting married and stuff like that. He was had other things on his agenda.
Absolutely. We'll expect him and Autumn to be out there on the chasing the points next year. Light Superstock Ag, Corey Schluter wraps it up with a win there in Spencer with a great season for the barn burner. Jeremy Paulson finishes second. Ryan Boyson with a great run this year finishes third.
A story that should not go unnoticed because they've really been pleased with the development of that tractor, and they feel like there's more in it, so they're going to keep hard charging next year.
And Chuck Schluter, the barn buddy, finishes fourth. So 2 Schluters there in the top 5. And Jim Scheffler, Too Much Fun, finishes 5th. And that tractor, no wins on the season.
Mr. Consistent.
Finishes in the middle, but there you go. He comes to every pull.
He does. Seriously, when was the last one he missed? I mean, rain, shine, 10-hour drive. He'll be there, and it's going to finish right where it finishes. And he just collects those points and goes about his way. It's not the first time he's been in the top 5. If you look back over the years, it's not uncharacteristic for him to finish top 5.
And Super Farm, super competitive Super Farm. Chad Wise in camp wraps up the season. A great season for him. The Someday International, and then regional Super Farm. He won that as well. It's a great year for Chad Wise in camp. Red Rock team finishes second. Chad Andrews, the Bruley Buck, third. Alan Andrews, the Dakota Deer, fourth. Brad Halinga, the endangered species, getting in the top 5 there, finishing 5th in points.
If Brad Halinga has a first half of the season the way he did the second half, if the season started at Rock Valley and we only counted points from there, watch out, because there was a lot of times that was the tractor kind of waiting in the wings and the X factor to beat. But also the show that
he was a dark horse. I mean,
but boy, he got good by the end of the season, and he was one you just couldn't sleep on. But they put on such a good show. The story that Red Rock and Someday, the way they battled back and forth, and the whole time you've got the Andrews team sitting right there, which you can't take a breath because the minute you let off, you've got those two that have won how many points championships in Super Farm. And it showed at where were we? We were in eastern Nebraska, Scribner, where those Super Farms had 5 of them finished within half a foot of each other or something like that. And that was just a reflection of how their season went this year.
Pro Stock Semi, Brent Roberts finished up the season Saturday in Bedford with Black on track, so back-to-back points championships for him. The Instigator, Brent and his dad drives that truck as well, actually owned by Richard Darr. Richard Darr's one bad binder. Didn't hit all the events, but when he hit them, he was pretty dominant.
His run Saturday night was nothing shy of epic. That was a big dog run.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, dang it! I could have went farther if I'd have turned the water on. I didn't do that." It's like,
he was at 407 or something like that as it sat.
But yeah, that's that class is growing. I keep hearing of these trucks being built, trucks that are already done, and getting them ready for next year. So that class, actually, Mike, is kind of an economical class when you compare it to a lot of the other classes. It's easier to get into as far as your investment. So, and it's a crowd favorite. Crowd loves that class.
My God, hey, it's for real. If you're a promoter and you're sitting here saying, which class should we get? You want to bring people in that are going to stay and watch. I would say get those Pro Stock semis. The families love them. The kids love them. You can just hear the crowd, Ron. When you see a semi go 380 feet, it blows the roof off. I mean, the crowd they love it. It's wonderful.
When they really get a hold of the track, they twist the frame and lift that left front off the ground. That's just awesome to watch. Now, the 4 classes that we didn't mention here, and we didn't mention the previous points winners that had already been determined. We'll go over them again too. But
Sure.
Mod Tractors, 2 more hooks for those guys at Draggin and Pullin in the Pines, October 25th and 26th. Cameron Neves, the one to beat this year in Mod Tractor. Yep. Legend Wayne Longnecker in the River Rat in second right now. Craig Ulmer and Sweet Pain in third right now. Last year's champion, Twisted Whip, Donald Nelson in fourth. Vern Huser with a really good season this year, sitting in the number 5 spot right now. But right now, really the battle, honestly, is as long as the Cotton Candy team shows up, they pretty much have it in hand. But the tight battle here, Mike, is if you look, it's between second, third, fourth, and fifth.
I was gonna say, because all those guys, ever since Cameron kind of went on his tirade in the second half of the season, the number 2 spot you're kind of drawn out of a hat, because all 4 of those next guys they're all great. And once Cameron kind of established, well, I'm going to be the number 1 guy, at any point, any of those guys could have been finishing number 2. Not least of which, like you said, Vern Huser. He has laid down some immaculately pretty passes late in the year this year, kind of Wisner on. That tractor's really been singing a song. Yeah,
from second through fifth, only 7 points separating fifth and second.
Wow.
So that's where the real battle lies right now. Yeah. Cotton Candy has a 30-point lead over second place. Could he lose it? If he doesn't show up, he could lose it. If something catastrophic bad happens Friday, I don't know. I'd have to run the different scenarios to see. But I think he's going to show up. I do.
It's a Texas. Well, he doesn't ever miss. He goes to everything, and I can feel his nervous energy if he's watching tonight. He's saying, "Ron, quit dreaming up ways that I could lose this."
But yeah, awesome battle going on there, and then second through fifth, and that's going to be fun to watch that battle go down there in Lufkin. 2-wheel drive. Richard Morris leading the field right now, and it is close. 5 points separating him and Donald Nelson's Whippet. Donald Nelson and a Little Whip in third, Texas Bullseye fourth, High Cotton fifth. So 4 of the top 5 all out of the Lone Star State there. My buddy Dave Bennett, I heard him say it on the mic for years. Texas rules the 2-wheel drive class.
Absolutely.
Hard to argue with that when 4 out of the top 5, are from Texas.
Well, and look at their track record at the National Farm Machinery Show. They don't just create great points races right here for us within the Outlaws. They haul up every February and go up into Kentucky and come home with hardware pretty frequently, including that Little Whip truck. It's went up there and got 2 golds at Louisville to its credit. Second, third, and fourth, all coming out of the Texas Bullwhip Motorsport stable also. Yep. So Don, Dustin, I don't know if Mindy will be driving. Mindy, it seems like, hasn't been behind the wheel a ton this year. So Donald and Dustin going to be busy down there on Friday and Saturday in October. And also, and I always blank on his name, the individual out of Nebraska that pulls with that team too, picked up a win in Wayne, does a really nice job for him. Fills in and drives for Dustin sometimes when Dustin's not able to make the travel.
This year, he won there at Wayne.
Won at Wayne. Yeah. Beautiful job driving.
David Vandenberg, I'm thinking saying Blaze of Glory. He finished 6th in point. He didn't show up this weekend. Not sure.
I noticed that.
Couple pulls.
That's another tractor that has a win in it. There is a win. He was Mr. Consistent. I started calling him that on the microphone. Of course, I spent a lot of time with the Super Farms this year. And I said, this is Mr. Consistent. He barely is ever out of the top 5. As a matter of fact, he's almost always finishes number 5. Yeah. But that tractor has a win in it. We're going to find him one in 25, 26 in the future. That's a good tractor with a good driver.
Yeah. Pro stock tractor. 2 hooks for them down in Texas in October. Cody Yark with a late season charge. Man, does he look like the tractor to beat. For most of the season, a lot of green tractor, Kyle Karstens, looked like he was the one to beat. He would look like he was going to just run away with it. And Cody Yark made some adjustments with Gone and comes out. And now it's like, how in the heck, where has he been? Where's he been all season? Now
I didn't Cody, you have permission to thump me upside the head if you're watching. You hear this? I didn't see that one coming. I really thought this was going to be, and of course we still have a lot to go where the chips are still on the table. But I kind of thought the story here was going to be a lot of green and Wampus Cat. But Cody said, guys, I'm your 2023 points championship. You got to go through me first. And like you said, he made the adjustments, and he is defending that thing tooth and nail at the moment.
Yeah, he's 14 points ahead now. I mean,
so
that's quick as change.
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Third, Greg Jager, the Wampus Cat, had a great season. He's in third right now. I think he's had some engine problems here since Unionville Buckner weekend. I think he had some engine issues. So that's been a tough tractor all year. Actually, he was in second, I think, in points going into the weekend. But now he's in third. Red Iron, Robert Davison having a great year, and Doug Sabatka's Let's Go in fifth in Pro Stock. Of course, that all is going to hatch out down in Texas. It was good to see the Out for Justice, Jeff Parker, see him back. He made a really good hook on Saturday night in Bedford with the Out for Justice John Deere.
All the way, is that the one all the way from Ohio? Yeah, that's a hard runner. Good to see Taylor Van Beek. Kind of ironing some bugs out too. A new vehicle, been fighting some stuff. But I thought both the runs, because he hooked twice this weekend, whereas everyone else only had to hook once. He had two
on Sunday.
He had two pretty passes down the track this weekend. So they're getting that thing dialed in.
You know what's probably more exciting for Taylor and Kurt and everybody on the crew and the family, everybody involved, probably more than anything, is that he's able to put it on the trailer all year.
I thought you were going to say that he came in within, a stone's throw of Esden Lane. That he can say he's hooked and finished within one position of the King of Smoke. So, but that it hasn't gone boom. They're a fan of that.
It's we're expecting big things out of them next year. As well. Russ Dostal, are they doing autograph banners again? Probably not, Russ. I love doing that. I love giving those away, but man, it is a job in itself trying to round pullers up to sign that thing. And you end up with a bunch of banners that have one or two or no autographs on it, and you're trying to chase them down pull to pull, and it just it's like trying to herd cats, and there's a lot of things going on. And so I don't know. I doubt it. We'll probably talk about it, at the banquet this year, but I don't know. We need like one person in charge of that can just chase them around and get those autographs on there.
Ron, are you saying that pullers are really good at pulling, but when it comes to the clerical side of things, that might not be their strong suit?
I will say some of them were Johnny on the spot. Some of them they'd win, they'd be right there. Where's the marker? I'll sign it. And others, you could call them and yell for them, and you'd never get them to come. And it's like, dang it. And then,
oh man,
it was kind of a pain in the rump trying to get them to sign that. But we'll just recap the other points champions that we didn't talk about tonight that were previously determined. I grabbed the wrong. The naturally aspirated two-wheel drive. We finished that up in Madison, South Dakota. Luke Renner winning that. Matt Phelps second. Black Sheep of the Family, David James third. Josh Rail, Boot Hill Express fourth. Rayson Mason, Matthew Hunick fifth. 3200 Superfield, Gary Kavanaugh, the one to beat. Always in that 3200. Class. Adam Serve, the Dark Knight second. Midnight Rider, Joseph Meyer in third. There's that song stuck in my head the rest of the night now. Mark Reardon in the Rum Runner in fourth. Like Father, Like Son, David Peterson. Fifth in 3200 Superfield. Regionals, Brady Gossler won with Spare Time in light limited pro regional. Dave Novak and the Mean Farmer. Regional Super Farm with Chad Weisenkamp at Someday. Light modified, Gage Ott getting his first points championship this year with the Warhawk. I think we've hit everybody here, so everybody's covered. One word I want to put out there to Pro Stock 4x4 guys. I've had a lot of Pro Stock 4x4 guys, several came up to me this year. Wanted to know if they could pull down in Lufkin, Texas. Well, guess what? They added the class, but it's not a points class. It's outlaw payout, but it's non-points. But it is an awesome event. I mean, if you haven't been there, if you're into semis, you're into drag racing, you're into music, and you're into outlaw tractor pulling, it is a fun event, and 100% of the proceeds go to Mission 22 and the Wyakin Foundation for our veterans. So awesome event. So Pro Stock 4-wheel drive pullers, and the app is open for entries for Lufkin Friday and Saturday night, October 25th and 26th. So you can get entered anytime right now. Hey, there's Pop checking in. Saying, I don't know what language he was speaking there, but I tell you, a good pull.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Marty Samuelson says hi. I don't know if he's saying Maryland or that's Marlon, but Marty Samuelson sending out a message to.
Hi, Marlon. Howdy.
So, Mike, it's time to turn it over to you, buddy. Your piece. Who do you got in the spotlight this week?
Seth Novak. We're going to clear some smoke. When the smoke clears this week, you're going to be looking at the Bounty Hunter. I think that is a cool named vehicle, and I love the side shields on that one. Running that starting line camera this year, I get up close and personal with some of the side shields on it. It's got the gunslinger on the side, burying in the tombstones all the brands of the competitors. Have you looked at it closely, Ron? Yeah. It's got the IH and the Case New Holland and everything else, is getting buried back there. So this week, when the smoke clears, let's go ahead and play this video and read the biography. When the smoke clears, you'll be seeing the Bounty Hunter. All right. When the smoke clears, you're looking at an outlaw, and the outlaw you're looking at is Seth Novak. His biography is going to shake down just like this. Puller Seth Novak. He drives the Bounty Hunter. It is a John Deere 4440 pulling in the 4.1-inch turbocharger, 9,500-pound limited pro stock class. He says he's been pulling for 25 years, if you count his garden tractor pulling career, where he says his first hook, we might have a record, was at the age of 2 years old. He hopped on a garden tractor in Neely, Nebraska, but he said his first time on the big tractor was in Bolus. I hope I'm saying that right. Yep. Bolus, Nebraska. So says his most memorable hook, says winning the Thunderbolt Trophy in Wisner, Nebraska. It seems like there's 3 common answers that we see on there. They like the Rock Valley. They like the Thunderbolt at Wisner. And then a lot of them get those eyes on the National Farm Machinery Show. We hear them talking about that with those big memories as well. So with a little foreshadowing right here, he says some of his other great memories include pulling at the National Farm Machinery Show, 2 separate occasions. Wildest ride, left it blank. Says, hey, man, nothing but smooth passes for the Bounty Hunter. No wild rides here. His biggest, let's see what he's got here. Points championships. 2 points championships with the Nebraska Bush Pullers. None with the Outlaws so far. His biggest pulling heroes include, obviously, number 1, his dad. Irv, is it Hake or Hakey?
Hake.
Hake, who drove Wildfire, and more with the challenging names. Arlen Pamajul for Pobar. He says, best pulling advice. I love this. Most of them say, drive it like you stole it or work with the vehicle. He says, best pulling advice is drive it like you hate it. Just try not to break it. So I can just, come on, you're going to go. I can hear drivers just getting on the tractor and getting angry with it. His day job, he's a farmer / cattle feeder, and he's an owner of the Pork Steak Trucking. They haul livestock. His pulling goals include he wants to win at the National Farm Machinery Show. Says the best part about being an outlaw is everyone is out for blood and wants to win. But when the show is over, we all stand around and tell stories and become close friends and make memories that last forever. A reoccurring theme that we're seeing again and again with these drivers. Best part about being an outlaw, it's made out there in the pits, and it's made, off the track as well as on it. It says message to the fans. It says don't buy the live stream, but go to the pulls in person anytime you're able to. Talk to the drivers and support the promoters. If the promoters can't afford us, we can't put on a show. It says you are the promoter's biggest sponsor. We talked about this in Let's Grow Pulling last night. Fans doing our part, showing up, being, engaged. That's at the end of the day, it's like anything, that's the driving force behind things here. And he says you can follow him on social media. You just follow him personally on Facebook, Seth Novak, or on TikTok. This is our second TikToker, Pork Steak Gypsy. Pork Steak Gypsy on TikTok. Driver of the Bounty Hunter, Seth Novak.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yep.
Tina Berger. Tina, I think we're going to make this happen. I think at least the awards portion, I think we are going to live stream it. So thanks for suggesting that. It got us talking about it more, and I think we are going to do it for those out there in Outlaw Nation, those Outlaw fans that want to see the award ceremonies and what happens. And to talk about the award ceremonies, pullers and families out there, pullers, crews and teams, you can start getting those reservations now for the Margaritaville Resort in Osage Beach, Missouri. That, of course, is, I'll give you the dates here, on November 22nd and 23rd is the banquet weekend. Don't forget to get signed up for things like the bowling tournament as well. That's always a lot of fun stuff to do there. I mean, that place is huge. It has its own spa and everything else, and a swimming pool, and it has a water park for the kids. So when the pullers are off in their class meetings and things like that, rules meetings and such, the family, they can go to the water park or go to the indoor pool there at the banquet. Also, the rules submissions deadline was Sunday in Spencer. Scholarships, I'm not sure if there's any more time on that yet, but if you have a scholarship, you don't have it done, get it done and get that sent in, the Outlaw Scholarship, and get those reservations in, get your room and get set up for the banquet. Mike, you've got a fan out there, Parade Alley Lounge.
Mr. Bowling Green himself.
He said something here. What's he talking about here, Mike? Did I miss something?
My newly developed mustache is getting a reputation on the podcast. Tyler Slaw.
He's talking about the movie. Me, myself,
and a couple of others have decided that it's a little less Travis Kelce and rugged cowboy like I was going for, and a little bit more creepy state highway patrolman. So, super troopers over here.
Oh, so I was thinking the Jim Carrey, Me, Myself, and Irene movie. Have you seen that? I think he was Vermont Highway Patrol.
Okay, maybe that's I was. Maybe we're getting either way. They think that I look like a state highway patrolman. I don't know, guys. The mustache, it's trending. It's getting a lot of attention on the podcast. It might have to hang around for a little bit while longer.
Tammy Morris chimes in and says lots of shopping down there at Lake of the Ozarks too. So yeah, there's some
things Ron and I don't notice. So
yeah, we'll just be running from room to room, going to meeting to meeting to meeting and things like that. So it'll be a busy weekend. So wow, it's 8:02, Mike. We not too bad with our time management tonight. Hope everybody had fun this weekend. Mark Ham has a suggestion. He's saying you might as well just go for it.
I've tried so many times. It's so itchy. It is just the trade-off, the risk versus reward isn't there. Not a beard guy. Can't make it happen.
All right. Zook is Officer Mike. Thanks for chiming in, buddy. Rhode Island. Dusty and Courtney Berry watching. It's a Rhode Island Highway Patrol from me, myself, and Irene. But
now I'm gonna have to go downstairs and watch it.
East, you know. They said it looks good, Mike. So
yeah, see.
Kyle Pedley so just joined. Why was my name mentioned?
Someone was watching from your hometown.
Yeah,
you've got your neighbor were watching.
So your name precedes you. We're talking about you because you have a fan there in Ocheeden. Maintenance keeps the beard away.
The beard itch. You got to maintain the beard. Not worth it, buddy. Not worth it. Not for me.
I don't know what he's talking about here. Maple syrup chugging.
Yeah, this is with Super Troopers. Haven't you seen Super Troopers, right? Tyler Slaw last night was watching the Let's Grow Pulling and wanted to know if, I was going to be chugging maple syrup anytime soon because he thinks I look like a state highway patrolman off Super Troopers.
Wow. That'd be tough.
Maybe something a little less viscous, more carbonated.
Yeah.
Something you can poke a hole in the bottom of.
Gotta go down the hatch a little smoother than that. All right, folks. Also, get your entries in the Case IH Outlaw 2024 Superfan Contest. Man, I want to see somebody win that tractor out there in Outlaw Nation. I can't wait to give that tractor away right after Lufkin, the Monday after Lufkin, Texas, the 28th of October. Somebody is going to win this thing. I'm just going to play the commercial. All right, if you weren't able to snag that QR code there real quick, there's an easier way to do it without trying to watch this over. Just go to outlawpulling.com. Right there on the homepage, scroll down at the bottom. Yep, you can get entered right now. And somebody said you can enter up to 6 times. I didn't know that. If that's true, heck yeah, enter 6 times.
That was what was told to me at some point throughout the summer while I was broadcasting this. Now, it's bad that you mentioned that because I thought that someone who told me that was you. So hopefully. So now I'm a little worried, but no, I'm sure that's right. So
we had a couple more comments here before we get out of here. Kyle Pedley said he didn't know he had any fans. That's not true. You got fans.
Tell you what, man, after the runs that you had at Wisner, Nebraska, one thing that I do for the Outlaws is I respond to comments on the Facebook page. Your runs right there keep me very busy responding to the comments on those. You definitely have fans. I can assure you that.
Yeah, I answer those from time to time, but boy, there's some weird comments that come in on there. I tell you that.
A lot of spam delete.
Yeah, geesh.
Someone really wants us to rent a truck. Have you seen that one? The trucks for rent are the new spammer specialties out there.
Schaefer Dave says congratulations to all the points winners. Dave Neville with Schaefer Oil and Specialized Lubricants.
Yeah.
James Fig Newton. I wonder if that's his real middle name. I doubt it.
I tried to hold it together. I tried to maintain my professionalism, but I read that one on the side, and that one got me in the funny bone.
I haven't had Fig Newtons in a long time. Those are pretty good. I get me some of those.
Help yourself,
Kyle always gives me good content. Yep, wheels up runs, rolling out walk-off wins. Heck yeah. Marty Samuelson looking for a great end of the year and looking to 2025. We are as well, Marty. Thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for watching. We're going to get out of here. No polls this weekend. Weird to say, but no polls. But we'll be back. We're going to start bringing some guests on next week. How about some points champions, things like that? Some of the National Series points champions, the Regional Series points champions, as well as the whole Gangs Midwest Summer Sweep champions. We want to start talking to some of the pullers and get their mugs on here so they can thank sponsors and people that helped them get to where they got. So thanks everybody for watching. Mike, thank you for doing your part here in the show. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. Thanks everybody.
check. Make sure Chuck's all right there. They're going to check Chuck out. Catastrophic engine damage. I think the top part of the motor. I believe he probably split the block in half right there. 234.53. Folks, give Chuck a round of applause. They said he's just fine, but the only thing hurting is his pocketbook right now. That is going to be an expensive fix.